task. Second one is integrated writing task, which is of 30 minutes.
Yeah, writing is overall for 30 minutes. Okay, very good. Now, the way Hamza said, that is the format of the test again. Okay, you will always start with your reading sections first, then you will move to your listening section, then you will move to your speaking, then you have writing at the end. Okay, just one second, let me share my screen quickly, then I'll explain the rest. Yeah. Now, as Hamza said, TOEFL is test of English as a foreign language. Okay, now you know already that whenever you're planning to apply for any foreign universities, they want you to give some kind of English proficiency test. Now you might know, you might feel, why do they need English test? Okay, now there are two main factors to it. One, you're going to a foreign based university. Their professor is going to speak only in English with you. Correct? You do not have anyone over there who will be able to speak or who will be able to translate it to you in your language. Okay. In Indian universities, when we take admission, we have someone who will at least know Hindi or some language which is common. And even if you don't understand anything, they will be able to translate it for us and at least explain it to us in our language if we don't understand anything. Correct? But the situation is not same in these universities. The professors only speak in English, and there is no one for us to help out over there. Correct? So that is the reason universities want to understand that okay, if you take admission in the university, you will be able to comprehend whatever the professor is teaching you. You will be able to comprehend whatever textbooks are given to you. Okay. At the same time, you will be able to communicate with your professor. You will be able to communicate with the people around you on the campus, and you will be able to communicate with your peers also. Okay. And speaking, yoga speaking, you are able to communicate with people around you. Then writing becomes important to show your skills to write the answers. Now, in India, even if we don't make proper sentences, our Indian professors understand what you are trying to say. Correct? But it's not the same over there. Your answers need to be comprehensible over there. That is when you will get a good grade. Now, another thing to it is if you're not able to speak in English properly, if you're not able to converse with people around you over there, you will feel alone. Correct? Because you're not able to talk. You will not be able to navigate in the city. You'll not be able to navigate on the campus. Even when we are traveling, if we don't know the local city, say if you come to Pune, both of you come to Pune tomorrow, say you will meet people who speak in Marathi over here, correct? And if you're not able to speak in Marathi, you will feel alone. You will feel left out, correct? And whenever you find someone who speaks your language, you will be on top of the moon over there, correct? So that's the thing. That is the reason they want you to give the test. They want you to know the language that will be common over there, correct? So you don't feel alone, you don't feel left out, you feel that you belong over there. Because again, students who come in that university, they will be from various backgrounds, various countries. Common language that we have is English over there. And at the same time, they want you to understand whether you will be able to understand everything that they're explaining in the university. Now, depending on the university, the level of scores that they require will change. Some of the universities are okay if you get only 60 out of 120 also. Some of the universities want 70 above score. Some of the universities want 100 above score. Some of the universities are okay with 90 above score also. So that's where we need to understand which universities we are applying to and what are the demands of that university. 100 above score is a safe score. Okay. But it is said, I'm not really sure of how true it is. It is said that if you get 110 above score, your scholarships, it helps in your scholarships basically. Okay. But even if you have 100 above score, it's fine. My brother has scored 100 above without preparing for the test and he got scholarships also. Okay. So totally depends from university to university also. Now, some universities might just ask you, okay, we are okay with 13 out of 30. in your reading and listening, but in speaking, we want 18. In writing, we want 24 out of 30. Okay, that is where we need to analyze which universities we are applying to and what are the requirements. Of course, that is something that we'll be doing together. Okay, don't worry about that. We will sit together one day. We will try to see what are the university requirements and what is the safe score for us. ओके मतलब हमने कितना स्कोर करना है किसकी कितने ऊपर चाहिए हमें स्कोर वो हमें पता होना चाहिए हमें मिनिमम नहीं देखना हमें मैक्सिमम देखना है हमें कितना चाहिए ठीक है नाउ दक्ष have you already booked the test or you'll be booking the test after understanding the format of the test a bit
I will do this after understanding first.
after understanding that's a good thing I would say that's the best way that कि पहले समझ लो so when you register for the test you will be consulting me first after giving at least 2 to 3 mock tests, then only we'll go ahead and register the test. Okay.
Come on.
So we understand what is your current score. Now see, Hamza has given the test once already. Okay, so he knows your his current score. So that is the reason he directly went ahead and he registered for the test before reaching out to me. So that's fine over there because he knows his level already. But you are new to the test. We need to understand why I am saying this. Say you are not scoring 60 also in the current test. Okay, after understanding the format also, say you're not scoring 60 also. You go ahead and register for the test and तुमने 15 दिन आगे की डेट अगर बुक की ठीक है it's difficult for me as a trainer to get you to that 100 score okay that is the reason I'm saying give the mock test. At least 2 mock tests should do. If you're scoring 90 above already, then it's fine. Otherwise, I would ask you to give one more test. It totally depends on your first test. जो पहला आप टेस्ट दोगे ना प्रॉपर अपना टोफल वाला टेस्ट बोल रही हूँ मैं ये जो अभी इंग्लिश का टेस्ट दिया था वो नहीं बोल रही हूँ मैं that was just to understand your level of English. Now, maybe this weekend or next weekend, you will give TOEFL test, full test. Okay, that's where I'll understand where you stand currently, and after that only we'll decide which date you are supposed to go for, how much time we need for preparation. Of course, 2 months are more than enough. You don't need preparation of more than that, but still. ठीक है now ये एक बात हो गया yeah, all the study material I'll be sharing with you. You don't need to purchase anything from anywhere. Other than that, yeah, I'm there if anything else is needed. Now, looking at the test format, we already know that whenever we have any language test, we have four main sections involved. That is reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Okay, as I said, you will always start with reading, then you will have listening, then you have speaking, and then you have writing. That is for your TOEFL test. Okay, now TOEFL test of English as a foreign language, and उसके आगे IBT भी add होता है, which is internet based test. Okay, your TOEFL test is only computer based test. You do not have a paper based format. Okay, so whenever you're giving any mock test, whenever I ask you to write anything, whenever I ask you to do anything, you will be doing it on your computer. Pen and paper हमें use नहीं करना है, except when we are listening to something and we have to take notes. Okay. Another thing, TOEFL test is an integrated test. What do we mean by integrated test, Hamza?
Ma'am, integrated test means like we are mixing two sections together
Mm-hmm.
to answer third question, or we need two sections, intersection of two sections to answer the third section.
Correct. Very good. Means almost there. Now, integrated tests, as Hamza said, they are not only assessing your one skill over there, they are assessing two, three skill, integrated skills basically. Example, when you are speaking to me right now, when you are attending this lecture, you will be looking at the screen, you will be reading something, correct, which I present on the screen, plus you are listening to me. And based on that, you will be presenting your response. Correct? That is what happens in the actual lectures also, correct? When you are at a university level lecture, you first, that's how we are supposed to do it. हम वैसे करते नहीं है वो अलग बात है कि whatever topic we are going to learn in college on in that particular lecture, we are supposed to read it first, and then based on that same, we are supposed to attend the lecture and understand it better. Of course, हम उल्टा करते हैं इंडियन कॉलेजेस में हम पहले प्रोफेसर का लेक्चर सुनते हैं then we read the material but we need to read we need to understand what the professor is saying and based on these two sources we come up with our answer correct same way you have it in the test also okay you will be In some of the tasks, you will read, you will listen to an audio, and based on these two sources, you are supposed to present your answer. Now, you might say, oh, itna difficult hai. It's not difficult, trust me that. Ulta, it's easier. If I just give you a topic and I ask you to write 500, 550 words ka essay on that, that is difficult. Because you have to come up with points, you have to come up with topics to write, you have to analyze what is right and what is wrong to be written over there, then you have to use your language skills, then you have to present that answer or essay. Correct? But over here, everything is given to you. You just need to use your language skills and present your answer. Okay, according to me, it becomes easier. You don't have to come up with points, you don't have to come up with topics. You just need to put forward your summarization skills, I would say, and paraphrasing skills. Okay, language skills mainly. Now, another thing that you need to understand, TOEFL does not ask you very high level of English. ओके, हमें शशि थरूर लेवल ऑफ इंग्लिश नहीं चाहिए. हमें जनरल हम जो डेली लाइफ में यूज करते हैं उतना ही लेवल का इंग्लिश चाहिए. ओके, ओनली थिंग, हाँ, वी माइट कम अक्रॉस वेरियस टॉपिक्स, सो उस टॉपिक के बारे में बस हमें थोड़ा सा पता होना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जांपल एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स क्या होता है, ओवरऑल हमें पता होना चाहिए. साइकोलॉजी क्या होता है, ओवरऑल हमें पता होना चाहिए. ओके, दैट्स व्हाट इज नीडेड, आई वुड से. बट व्हाटएवर इज बीइंग आस्क्ड टू यू विल बी फ्रॉम द गिवन मैटर. उसके बाहर से कोई कुछ नहीं पूछेगा तुम्हें. ठीक है. वन मोर थिंग, वी नीड जनरल एकेडमिक लेवल इंग्लिश. ठीक है, जैसे कि एकेडमिक क्या होता है, सिलेबस क्या होता है, कोर्स मटेरियल क्या होता है, ये सारे वर्ड जो हम डेली लाइफ में कॉलेज में यूज करते हैं, ये वर्ड्स हमें पता होने चाहिए. दैट्स व्हाट इज नीडेड, आई वुड से. यू डोंट नीड very high level of English. You need basic level of English. Even when you are producing your language, where which is your speaking and writing, बहुत इजी इजी वर्ड्स हमें यूज करने हैं, जो अगर हम मिड लेवल पे भी है इंग्लिश के, वी आर एबल टू यूज दैम. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ यूजिंग द वर्ड इजी, वी विल जस्ट यूज द वर्ड एफिशिएंट, एंड दैट विल गिव यू अ गुड स्कोर. ठीक है, एकदम भी बेसिक सेंटेंसेस नहीं बनाने, मिड लेवल के सेंटेंसेस बनाने, बट वी डोंट हैव टू गो एंड यूज वेरी हाई फाई लेवल ऑफ वर्ड्स. ओके, फैंसी वर्ड्स ज्यादा यूज करने की जरूरत नहीं है. इफ यू यूज इट, इट्स वेल एंड गुड, बट इफ यू कांट यूज इट, स्टिल यू विल स्कोर गुड. Okay, that is another plus point over here. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that was the basic. अभी जब हम सैटरडे या फिर संडे एक्स्ट्रा सेशन के लिए मिलेंगे, if I have missed out on anything, I'll input you about that part also. Now, yesterday, as I told you, we started with reading question types. Okay, in reading, basically, you get a passage, yeah, which is around 700 to 750 words long. Now, when you get this passage, you have two such reading passages in your reading test. Okay, your overall test, हाँ, एक चीज रह गई, your overall test of TOEFL is of 2 hours. To be very exact, it is of 1 hour 58 minutes. ठीक है. Now, for reading, you get 35 minutes. For listening, you get 36 minutes. For speaking, you get 16 minutes. And for writing, you get 29 minutes, but 30 minutes पकड़ के चलो. ठीक है. Now, in a reading section, we have two passages. Okay, two reading passages, which will be your academic level passages, which will be from college level textbooks. They will be around 700, 750 words long. They are not very long also, but they are not very short also. Okay, now for each passage, you will get 10 questions and your points will be 11 points each passage. That means overall 22 points. Abhi ye 22 points, they get converted to the scale of 30. So you get score of 30 in reading, score of 30 in listening, score of 30 in speaking, and score of 30 in writing. Okay, so overall you get 120. Maximum score that you can get is 120. Okay, and as I said, your safe score is 100 above. But many universities accept 90 above also. Okay, 100 above is like topper बोल सकते. Yeah, that's what we have to remember as of now. Now, we started with basic comprehension level questions. We looked at factual information question yesterday and we looked at negative factual information question yesterday. Today, we'll be looking at vocabulary questions. ना अभी वोकैबुलरी क्वेश्चन सब जब हम देखेंगे तभी तुम दक्ष समझ जाओगे कि कितने मतलब बेसिक लेवल ऑफ वोकैबुलरी हमें पूछे जा रही है। ठीक है, so you will understand why I said we don't need such a thorough level of English. Now there are some tests which ask you to have such a thorough level of English, and that's when you will get a good score or very high level of score. ठीक है, so TOEFL does not expect that. Just one second. Yeah. So next over here we have vocabulary question. So in reading also we have different question types. Okay. And according to these question types, we understand how to attempt the question. Okay. What is the question exactly asking us, and where are we supposed to find the information for it? Now, Daksh, I will also share the TOEFL guide with you today. Go through that. You will get a better idea of whatever I have told you today. थोड़ा सा आज ऐसा लगा होगा कि मैंने बहुत ज्यादा बॉम्बार्ड कर दिया तुम्हें. Usually I cover all this in one session, but you have joined after 2 days, so not a problem. If more students join, I'll be taking it elaborately in the next week, so don't worry about that part. Okay. But go through the passage also, and that's where you'll understand how the questions are asked. Okay. There will be one reading passage as a practice which has been given in the TOEFL guide. Just look at it, then it will give you a better idea. Okay. And wherever you do not understand anything, stop me and ask. Not a problem. Now, in reading as well as listening, the questions which are asked to you are MCQ based questions, multiple choice questions. Okay. Most of the times, four options would be given, and one correct answer will be there. Sometimes you will be asked to select two correct answers, and sometimes you will be asked to select three correct answers, and that is only for one particular question, जो हम आगे देखेंगे. Don't get confused as of now. Okay. Usually in listening, you are asked to select two out of four or two out of five. That's where you will have to pay attention and read the instructions properly in the question. Okay. Now, in vocabulary question, as it says, here they are testing your vocabulary. Okay. Some word will be given in the passage, or to be very particular, in the paragraph, which will be highlighted. Okay, you don't need to keep searching for that word. That word will be highlighted, it will be in bold, you will be able to see it. Once you read it, you will understand that okay, a question might come up from this word, and it will be a very basic level word. Okay, it's not very high level word. Okay, you will look at the word, you will look at the question. Now, the question will always look like this. The word dash dash in the passage is closest in meaning to. The phrase dash dash in the passage is closest in meaning to. Now, understand this. Why they are asking is closest in meaning to? Because in English, we know that one word will have different meanings to them, different uses to it, different functions to it. We know that, correct? Sometimes it might be given as a verb, sometimes it might be given as a noun. We need to understand in what context it is being used in that particular paragraph. Okay. And from that particular context, we have to select the option. Okay. That's what we have to remember. Now, whenever we are cross checking the answer, whenever we are selecting the answer, of course, as I've already said before, we will look at the question, we will look at the passage, we will make sure that the option that we are selecting is answering the question. Okay. But for this particular vocabulary question, what we will do is the option that we are selecting, we will take that word and we will try to replace it in the sentence. And we will see if that sentence still makes sense. Okay, then only we will go with that option. Most of the times, the other words which are given will not make sense over there. Okay. Now, whenever they ask questions, they highlight the paragraph number also in this. Okay. And accordingly, they will ask you the questions in the test. Okay. For example, one second. My laptop is not cooperating with me today. One second. So, at the start, you will see in paragraph 1, what the word locomotion in the passage is closest in meaning to. So they will always highlight the paragraph number and they will ask you the question in paragraph number 1, in paragraph 2, in paragraph 3, and that paragraph will also be highlighted on your screen. So usually when you are in the test, your paragraph comes on the left, okay, on your and your questions come on the right. Okay. So if they are asking you, say, question from paragraph number 3, then that paragraph on the left will be highlighted. Okay. And even the word, the way I said, it will be in bold in the passage, in the paragraph. Okay. Daksh, you have a question?
I'll ask after that.
No problem. Now, here we are going to quickly watch one video. In the video also, we will explain the same thing, but you will see how the screen looks like, because that becomes better for you to understand.
Hi, I'm Michael from ETS. Today on Inside the TOEFL Test, we're going inside the TOEFL IBT reading section, specifically the vocabulary questions. Vocabulary questions ask you to identify the meanings of words and phrases as they are used in the reading passage. It's easy to identify vocabulary questions because there will be a word or phrase highlighted in the reading passage, and you will see questions like these, with phrases like closest in meaning or the author means. Now let's look at a sample vocabulary question. This one is from a reading passage about meteorite impacts. Here's an excerpt from the passage with the vocabulary word highlighted. Here's the sample question, which asks the meaning of the word pose.
Okay, try this question quickly.
Done, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Daksh, are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me your answers.
A.
A, say it
Ma'am,
confidently. Say it confidently, इतना डर डर के क्यों बता रहे हो आंसर? C. Okay, Hamza, what's your answer?
D, D, D,
D. Okay.
D, 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 D.
Okay, let's see what's the answer.
Now, there's really not much strategy in answering these vocabulary questions. The words that are tested are
D was the correct response. Okay. As I said, try to replace the word sometimes. ठीक है, वो रिप्लेस करते हैं ना तो हमें आंसर समझ में आ जाता है. अभी पोज का तुमने क्लेम किया था, क्लेम को अगर रिप्लेस करके देखते इट वुड नॉट फिट ओवर देयर. या
academic vocabulary that you should know if your English is at the level of a university student. They are not usually words that you can guess from context. So the best general strategy to be ready for this type of question is to build your vocabulary. Keep in mind that there's a difference between academic vocabulary and specialized vocabulary. Academic vocabulary words can be used across many fields of study. These are the kinds of words you'll be tested on. Specialized vocabulary words are specific to one field. If words like this are in a TOEFL reading passage, they will be defined for you.
okay, so if specialized words are given which are domain specific, which you might not know as a general student, they will be highlighted in the passage. The meanings would be given at the bottom or something like that. Okay, and इतने specific words के vocabulary questions नहीं आएंगे. ठीक है, vocabulary questions general academic words के ही आएंगे. Understand that? Clear?
Here's a tip for increasing your vocabulary. Many English words come from Latin or Greek. So if you study Latin and Greek roots, that will help you remember the meanings of words. and it can also help you figure out the meanings of words you may not know. For example, if you know that the Latin root terra means earth, then when you see this sentence from the passage that talks about the terrestrial material found at the impact site, you'll know that it's referring to the material from the earth, not from the meteorite. There are lots of ways to
Understood? So instead of this, you can understand कि it's good to know the words in their basic form. Okay, if you know the basic form of the word, you understand all the related words. Okay, for example, the word academic. If I say academician, you will know it is something related to academics. Correct? Yeah. Now try doing this question quickly.
Done.
Done? Okay. Tell me your answers.
Mom, B. Movement.
Movement. Very good. And Daksh?
Well,
Movement. That's the correct word over here. Because locomotion, motion, अगर हम उसको break down भी करते हैं, the word motion, it tells us that okay, some kind of movement we are talking about. Okay, it can't be evolution, it can't be survival, it can't be escape. So sometimes elimination trick also helps us over here. Okay, we can just eliminate the other responses which will not fit in. Yeah, try one more. Again, this is easy.
done.
Mhm.
Done. Mom.
Tell me the answer.
Hmm.
A.
Daksh?
Well, A.
A. Correct. Lose the ability to move because that's what suffering paralysis means. Correct. Next, a little longer passage. Try now.
Done.
Done?
Done.
Okay.
Done.
Tell me your answers.
B.
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 Yes.
Okay. That's correct. Yeah. Because it is closest in meaning to the word augment. Yeah. Understood? Any confusion over here? No. Okay.
No.
And as these questions are very easy, you will also see that you do not spend a lot of time with this question. Okay, vocabulary questions are supposed to be very, very easy. Why very easy? Because you have only four options which are very short. Okay, and even the question and the word is also highlighted in the paragraph. So that is the reason you should not spend a lot of time with this question because there are other questions which need a lot of time. So you can save some time over here. Try this one quickly.
Done.
Okay, tell me your answers.
A.
A. Daksh. A.
Before.
Okay, that's correct. Yeah, you got the trick over here. Now, next over here, we have reference question. Now, as we are seeing the word reference, we understand that okay, we are referring to someone, something, and we are asking the relationship between those two things. Okay. Now, over here in this question, they mostly ask you which word they are referring to. Okay. Now, I'll just show you a question quickly so I understand it better. Now, see, over here, a big sentence will be given. Yeah. And when you see this sentence, they will be using some relative pronoun over here and they will ask you to what this word is being referred to. ठीक है, मतलब ये जो वर्ड यूज किया गया है हाईलाइट करके वो एग्जैक्टली किस चीज को रेफर कर रहा है. That's what they are asking you. Now, if you see in this sentence, there are three subjects. Distribution भी है, sale भी है, newspapers भी है, postal service भी है. All the things are mentioned. Now, when you look at the options, you will see that all the things are mentioned. So, हमारे जो इंडिया में इंग्लिश कॉम्प्रिहेंशन होता है वैसा नहीं होगा कि you have only लाइक ऑप्शन करेक्ट वही होगा जो कहीं पर भी पैसेज में मेंशन नहीं किया गया है या फिर मेंशन किया गया है. ऐसा नहीं है. ऑल द options which are being given to you, they are mentioned somewhere in the passage. You just need to understand the question and make sure you answer the question properly. Now, over here, to understand how to answer this question, you need to understand what are relative pronouns. Now, to understand relative pronouns, of course, we go ahead and we practice on it also. Don't worry. Now I'm just telling you in brief. Okay. Now, to understand relative pronouns, we need to know what are nouns. What are nouns? Nouns are the words which we use to take the name of the place, person, idea, things, feelings. All the words are nouns. Okay. For example, if I say the word screen, that's a noun. If I say the word question, that's a noun. If I say Hamza, that's a noun. If I say laptop, that's a noun. Correct? If I say Pune, even that is a noun. Right? All these words become nouns. Now, pronouns are the words which we use to replace the nouns. For example, instead of saying Hamza, I can say he. Hamza always attends the class on time or always joins the class on time. He's blushing. Then I can also say he always joins the class on time. So instead of speaking the name Hamza, I can say the word he, which is the pronoun. Okay. These are our general personal pronoun. अब रिलेटिव प्रोनाउंस क्या होते हैं जब हम दो चीजों के रिलेशन बताने के लिए जो हम प्रोनाउंस यूज करते हैं उनको हम बोलते हैं रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन. So when we say a bigger sentence, for example, if I say Hamza, who is my student, is coming to meet me. Hamza, who is my student, is coming to meet me. So the word who over here becomes the relative pronoun. Hamza, जो कि मेरा स्टूडेंट है वो मुझे मिलने आ रहा है. Right? So जो हम यूज करते हैं ना that becomes who over here. So for people we use who. For non-living things we mostly use the word which. Okay, and for living and non-living both, we use the word that. The dog and the woman that I saw yesterday are my neighbors. So यहाँ पर non-living and living. I know dog is also a living thing, but not a human being, right? So we use that over here. Here, so ये word हो गए. Then the words this. Then the word it. It's. ये भी आते हैं questions में बहुत बार. It is used for non-living things and places. Okay, mostly. It's is a bit different than the word it. It is a pronoun. It's is a adjective. Okay. When we look at this topic in broad, I'll also explain those terms. Don't get confused as of now. Now, the main thing that you need to understand over here, the words who, the words which, the words this, the words it's, ये किस चीज को exactly refer कर रही है? What is the main subject to it? That subject is termed as antecedent in grammatical terms. You don't need to remember that term, it's fine. But you need to understand the main subject that it is being referred to. Okay, and you have to select the option accordingly. Understood what you have to do over here? Now, when you refer these questions, you will also need to make sure that you follow singular and plural properly. Singular is one thing, plural are many things. Correct? Same way, you will also need to understand whether the word, the part of speech, what it is referring to, whether it's a noun, it's a verb, it's an adjective, or it's an adverb. Okay? The highlighted word will be there in the sentence. If you feel that you are not able to understand the answer, again, just like our vocabulary question, try to replace the word. Okay? For example, the question that we just looked at. The distribution, if not the sale, of newspapers was assisted by the establishment of a postal service in 1710, which had a network of 65 offices by 1770, serving all 13 colonies. Now, they're asking you the word which in the passage refers to what? Correct. Now, if you look at it over here, if I try to replace the word which with the word sale, will it make sense? Sale had a network of 65 offices? No,
No,
it
ma'am.
does not make sense. Now, if I try to replace the word newspapers over here, newspapers had a network of 65 offices? No, newspapers do not have offices. Newspapers have agencies, right? Or printing press. Right? Now, if I try to replace the word with distribution, distribution had a network of 65 offices? No, again, it does not make sense. So, what is the last option that we have? Postal service. Postal service had a network of some 65 offices by 1770. Yeah, it makes sense. Right? That's how you will try to get the answer. This question is supposed to be a bit difficult, but if you try to analyze the way I told you, it becomes easier. Clear? Okay. Let's try
Yes,
one
ma'am.
on your own now. Try one on your own. Try this one. Now understand this. The words which will be given in the options will not be direct. They will be paraphrased many times. Okay? So make sure you understand the paraphrasing also.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Tell me your answers.
Okay.
Okay. Daksh, tell me the answer.
See.
C. Hamza.
Uh, ma'am, I needed some time. I'm not able
Okay.
to understand this question here.
Sure. I'll give you 2 more minutes. Try doing it.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Mm-hmm. Tell me your answer.
C. C.
C. Sure.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
That's correct. Okay. Because that's what it is being referred to. Understood? Okay. Try one more. Read this passage, then I will show you the question. Are you able to read this? The
Yes, ma'am.
passage is a bit small. अगर लैपटॉप से ज्वाइन किया then you will be able to read it.
Done.
Done? Okay. Just tell me once you're done reading.
And then
Okay. Tell me the answer.
A.
he.
A. The spread of technology.
This one.
That's correct. Yeah. Okay. Last one.
Done.
Just tell me once you're done.
Yes.
Sorry.
And then
Okay. Tell me your answers.
B.
B. People.
जी.
That's correct. Very good. You understood this, right? Okay, we'll move to sentence simplification question tomorrow. We'll stop over here for today. Otherwise, it will be too much for Daksh today. He will be like कुछ भी नहीं समझा मैम वापस explain करो वापस explain करो. No problem. We'll stop over here. What I'll do is for the first part which I explained to you, the whole test format, उसका मैं एक वीडियो भी शेयर कर दूंगी तुम्हारे साथ में जो मेरे YouTube पे डाला हुआ है. Just go through that. Okay, and if you don't understand anything, just reach out to me. I'll explain it. And of course, we'll do revision in the class also. But when we are practicing these questions, you should have brief idea of what we are referring to. Correct? That's the reason. And along with that, I'll also share the TOEFL guide with you. Okay, go through it and mainly go through the leading chapter, which is your chapter number two, and go through chapter number one, where they show you what the computer screen looks like and what are the things that you should be careful of on the test day. Okay,
Chapter
Daksha.
2 and
Chapter 2 and Chapter 1 about the TOEFL IBT test, and Chapter 2, which is reading. Yeah, we have done reference question today and vocabulary question today. उसके आगे के questions हम कल देखेंगे. ठीक है? But you can just read through it once, just to understand it in brief. Clear?
okay.
Any questions, any doubts, anything that you did not understand? अभी थोड़ा सा लगेगा वैसे कि कुछ भी नहीं समझ रहा है, but as we start practicing, you will understand that. ठीक है? Yeah. As you're new to the format of the test, it will take some time. Don't worry about that. Yeah?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Once you give the first mock test, you will understand everything. Yeah. You just need to look at what the test looks like. Nothing else. Okay?
Uh,
Chalo. Okay, then I will see you tomorrow, guys. Bye
Okay,
bye.
ma'am.
Take
Bye.
care. Have a great
uh,
day. Bye.
Thank you.
No problem.